RGG Studio needs to get it together and try everything to win back the fanbase. Because if not, the next Yakuza-like game is just around the corner and it's gone. Remember back when RGG Studio had this amazing lineup of games where they just kept on winning? Yakuza games really hit their lucky break during the lockdown of 2020, where a lot of people finally tried playing this obscure game that is often mislabeled as the Japanese GTA game. And once people boot up the game and saw for themselves how freaking awesome it is, the rest was history. Some were in awe by Kiryu's stoic and hard-boiled principles. Others were enamored by Majima's stylish swagger. And all of us sang... Since more people started playing Yakuza games in 2020, they were spoiled with a full lineup of great titles ready to play. And the experience just kept getting better with releases like the Judgment series, as well as the soft reboot with Ichiban's Yakuza-like a Dragon. RGG Studio felt invincible and can do nothing wrong. Until they flew too close to the sun and ended up making a series of mistakes, such as the Yakuza 0 Director's Cut being too expensive and delisting the original game, a polarizing hire for Kiryu's new English voice actor, and the most problematic of them all is YAKUZA KIWAMI 3's questionable casting and death Retcon. Does this mean that RGG Studio will never reach that level of recognition again? Will the Yakuza series fade back into being just a niche Japanese GTA clone? Is the Like a Dragon franchise starting to die a painful death? Absolutely not. This is the RGG Studio we're talking about, who fought tooth and nails just to convince Sega to release a game that stars an ex-yakuza character in 2006. These developers are known for their perseverance, much like their characters, who in the face of bankruptcy managed to turn the tables and make it as one of the most profitable series in Sega. Like a Dragon games will never die. But they obviously need to do something to turn things around once again. So here's everything Yakuza games need to do to win back fans. But before that though, if you're still excited for the future of Yakuza games, then like this video and join Otaku Find for more Like a Dragon content.
Hey, how's it going?
The number one priority that RGG Studio needs to do to win back fans is to finally be done with the Daidoji plotline. This infamous group, who has been wrecking the character's fate since Yakuza 6, has caused enough damage. While they were an interesting antagonistic group during the Yakuza 6 campaign, but I think at this point, they've overstayed their welcome. We've already seen how Kiryu's life played out when he joined them as Joryu, and to be fair, that story was pretty solid. We have the agents of the Daidoji trying to tame the Dragon of Dojima and even resorting to threatening the orphans, which of course terribly backfired. I do think that the Daidoji faction could have been handled better if their activities were kept separate from the main Yakuza storyline. The faction doesn't really need to be removed entirely, but giving them their own space in the narrative without heavily affecting the overall Yakuza plot would make the role feel more focused and effective. Maybe have the Daidoji faction involve a political story, since that's their whole thing, with their new agents uncovering this political scandal. And RGG Studio has proven time and time again that they excel at writing stories centered on socio-political themes, as proven with their gripping plotlines, be it the main one or a sub-story, such as Lost Judgment take on the flawed judicial system and bullying, Yakuza-like a Dragon's gray area issues, and even Infinite Wealth's immigration and waste disposal. If RGG Studio can stop using overly complicated ways to tie the Daidoji faction into the main Yakuza storyline, fans would likely be less critical of them, especially since they are being blamed as the main reason why Yakuza Kiwami 3 had this bizarre plot twist that changed the ongoing Yakuza story. So by Like a Dragon 9, this should be the last time the Daidoji faction plays a major role in the main story. After that, they'd be better suited for spin-off titles instead, where RGG Studio can go all out in telling a political story. And you know what? I'm all for it. Have Agent Mine bust some political scandals, where we see more of his moves that I still feel like was sorely lacking in Dark Ties. I mean, RGG Studio is one of the greats when it comes to developing brawler type games. However, that doesn't mean that Like a Dragon 9 should abandon its turn-based combat. In fact, keeping and improving the turn-based system would be one of the ways they can win back fans. While the whole turn-based issue that started with Ichiban in Yakuza Like a Dragon divided the fandom, I think it's finally time to admit that RGG Studio made the right decision. Not only was it thematic for a Dragon Quest loving character like Ichiban to have his whole gameplay be based on the iconic turn-based game, but this system rejuvenated the series as well as showcased the innate talents of RGG Studio to develop complex mechanics that they couldn't do in a brawler type game. Furthermore, by Infinite Wealth, RGG Studio managed to improve a lot of things in their turn-based system, such as having the ability to move around while strategizing your next move, being able to one-sweep weaker enemies for easier exploration and XP farming, and a robust job system where every character played a major role in battle. While still not perfect, Infinite Wealth's turn-based system proved that Like a Dragon games can thrive in this combat mechanic, so LAD 9 should obviously still stay with this type of combat system while continuing on to improve it. Maybe they can incorporate what Expedition 33 did with a whole dodge and parry system to make it more engaging. Of course, the main reason why Like a Dragon 9 should stay a turn-based game is because they need to refocus on Ichiban's story again. The biggest flaw of Infinite Wealth is how Ichiban gets sidelined halfway through the story. Okay, sure, I get that we have to say goodbye to Kiryu, that's great and all, and I'm happy that he got his part of the tale, but the price for that shouldn't be Ichiban becoming an afterthought. People lauded Yakuza Like a Dragon because of its story that follows this rock-bottom hero rising again together with his friends whom he shares a common goal with. And insane moments where we meet the Yakuza legend of old felt rewarding, since they were used just enough without overstaying their welcome. Like a Dragon 9 should do something similar, that instead of a legacy character taking the limelight away from Ichiban again, it should be properly shared with one another. Like a Dragon 9 should focus on Ichiban again, while still showing some support and closure to the older characters that we love. And speaking of which, RGG Studio should finally give Kiryu his well-deserved rest, as this will definitely make the fans happy that our man can finally have a happy life. It felt strange how the ending of Infinite Wealth and Fire Yakuza were setups into Kiryu's future, when during Infinite Wealth, we were revisiting Kiryu's legacy and reminiscing about his past accolades, as if that will actually be the last we see of Kiryu. But then it turns around and teases another story, suggesting that Kiryu might once again return to the spotlight. If RGG Studio keeps on doing this, then it will only further cheapen the fans' reception towards Kiryu's continuous suffering. Instead of feeling sympathy when he goes through more hardship, players will now expect that it will be resolved in the next game. However, if Like a Dragon 9 gives Kiryu a proper send-off, it could finally allow the series to move forward and start with something new, which means that we can finally avoid death retcons. Because my gosh, while I'm not completely bothered with Mine's plot twist ending, what I'm more afraid of is if Kiryu's story keeps on continuing, then I feel like they'll be tempted to reverse Nishikiyama's death. I mean, Yakuza 3 almost did it with Kazuma-san, but thankfully they saved themselves with the whole sibling thing. Imagine if RGG Studio keeps retconning deaths just for the sake of seeing Kiryu's reaction. And honestly, we already saw it happen with Lau Ka-long, so it's not entirely impossible to think they would pull off something even crazier next time around. Lastly is, no more lazy remasters and remakes. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is actually fine, but it should not have the listed original and it shouldn't have cost this much. Then while Yokoyama-san stated that Yakuza Kiwami 3 was the last of Kiwami branded games, we know for certain that Yakuza 4 will eventually get its remake under a different umbrella. And hopefully RGG Studio won't make the same mistakes again. While Yakuza games have lost the fans' faith, I do believe that they can turn things around like how they did before. And they're not stubborn developers like other AAA studios. Remember when Infinite Wealth had the issue with the New Game Plus being locked behind a paywall? Well, they clearly avoided that in their newer titles and even mentioned it during the RGG Summit. RGG Studio knows the importance of showing respect to the fans who has followed their games for 2 decades. And I believe that when Stranger Than Heaven releases, it will mark a strong new beginning for the Like a Dragon series. Again, For the last time, please RGG, no more Daidoji retcons, even if it means bringing someone like Mine back. Speaking of which, why is RGG Studio so obsessed with Mine? If you're curious about that, then check this video out. Join Otaku Define for more Like a Dragon content. This is Math, and stay awesome my god eyes.